Now that we've worked on simplifying rational expressions, we're going to move on to multiplying rational expressions. With this being said, the steps are always the same. We're going to multiply, and then we're going to simplify our product, okay? So steps. Step 1, multiply straight across. Step 2, reduce / cancel. Anything is possible. And step 3 is to simplify. Step 2 and 3 are kind of the same. We're just making sure that we're reducing everything down. We're simplifying our exponents if necessary. So for example, let's say that I had 3x squared over 2 times 4 over x. So remember, the first step I said was to multiply straight across. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and multiply 3 times 4, which gives me 12. And I don't have any other x's to multiply straight across, so it's just x squared. Now I'm going to do that same thing on the bottom. So I have over 2x. Step 2 was to reduce or simplify at the same time. So to start with, I'm going to do this in a two-step process. I'm going to reduce my numbers, my big numbers. These would be my coefficients. So I have 6x squared over x. So all I did was take 12 divided by 2, and I just reduced that to 6. Well, now I'm going to reduce my x's. Remember that when I am reducing my exponents with my x's, I'm actually subtracting. So this is really just 6x to the first. Again, the reason being, we're going to have a little side step over here. If I have x cubed over x to the first, this really equals x to the third minus 1 on the top, which gives me x squared. Okay, so you're going to use that same process throughout. For this, let's say that I have 4x cubed over 3x times 14 over x. Again, I'm multiplying straight across. 4 times 14 gives me 56 x cubed all over 3x squared. I'm going to reduce that 56 over 3, which actually comes out to decimal, but I can't reduce the fractions, so that's okay. I can, however, reduce my exponents or my variable to just an x to the first. Now let's get a little bit more complicated. Let's say that we're adding in some additional components. So for example, let's say that I have 3x over x minus 1 times 2 times x minus 1 all over 6x. So we've added some additional components. Not only are we working with x's that have exponents, we're also dealing with actual polynomials. The process is still the same. I'm going to multiply straight across and then reduce. So I'm going to have 6x times x minus 1. Now, I'm going to actually just leave this. All I'm doing is multiplying the outside part for right now. If I have to do multiplication twice, that's okay. I'm now going to go straight across on the bottom. Now this x minus 1 is technically in parentheses as well. So I have 6x, x minus 1. Now looking at this, if I were to reduce the 6x's, they cancel. X minus 1 cancels, so I'm left with just 1. All right, so let's do another one of these. Let's say that I have 3x minus 6 over x minus 1 times negative x plus 1 over 3. Now, when I'm multiplying straight across, that was if my coefficients were just numbers, where in this case, we technically have polynomials. Okay, so this is a little bit different of a process. I am going to multiply straight across, but I'm also going to factor. So when I'm factoring, so let's go over here. Factor if you have polynomials. Okay, so I'm going to factor first. Looking at this one here, I'm going to factor the 3 out, and I'm left with x minus 2. And that's still over x minus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to factor this other side. Well, I don't really like working with negative x's, so I'm going to factor out that negative 1, and then I'm going to have x minus 1. Okay, so now with this, I'm going to actually multiply straight across. So I'm left with negative 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 1 all over 3 over x minus 1. The reason why I don't actually multiply my polynomials is because I want to see if anything cancels out. And the reason why I factored was so that I could reduce my polynomial in lowest terms and simplify it. So now that I've multiplied my coefficients straight across, now I can reduce. So looking at the negative 3 over 3, I'm left with just a negative 1. I'm just reducing my coefficients for right now, doing this step by step. Well, now looking at this, I know that the x minus 1 can cancel. So I'm left with negative 1 times x minus 2. All right, so let's do one more. So we have here negative 5 over 6x minus 4 times negative 6 over 5x plus 6. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is actually going to factor out the left side. So I have negative 5 over 2 times 3x minus 2. I'm going to factor my right side now. So I have negative 6 over 5x plus 6. I can't reduce that one, which is fine. I'm now going to go ahead and multiply straight across. I have 30 on top. Then I have 2 times 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 6. So I can reduce that 30 over 2 to 15 over 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 6. Final answer.